Hey, what's up? It's Steven from Triple Lifestyle. I'm here to give you the world's shortest stock market investing guide. Alright, so first, a little history lesson. The average total return of the US stock market has been around 10% per year for the last century or so. So that's to say that if you invested $1,000 today, you might expect to have like $1,100 next year. Here's the thing though, that 10% per year average comes in a super lumpy format. So it can actually plummet by 20-30% in a year, it can go up by 30-40% in a year, it can go up for 5% 3 years in a row, it can do pretty much anything. It's just that the average total return over a very long period of time has tended to historically hover around 10% per year. So the obvious thing you might think is, alright, well I'll just buy when the price is really low, I'll sell when the price is really high, and I'll just sit out all those years when the price is going down, right? Then I can get an average that's way better than 10% per year. Turns out that's not easy at all. It's actually really hard. Fidelity, this big investment company, did a study where they tried to figure out which of their investors actually performed the best, like what demographic. The demographic they came up with was dead people. Why? Because dead people would leave their investments alone for years and years on end and just ride out that upward general trend without trying to time the market. Turns out that's actually one of the best strategies. Alright, so lesson 1 here is leave your money alone for years at a time and don't invest money that you can't afford to leave alone for years at a time. Alright, plan on leaving that money there for at least 10 years if you're investing in stocks. Now, the next question is, what do I mean by investing in the stock market? Like, I thought you had to buy shares of specific companies, like buy a few shares of Apple, buy a few shares of Ford, something like that. Pick out companies that you think are going to do really well, right? Well, it turns out, just like people are really bad at timing the market, it turns out that most individuals are really bad at picking which companies are going to do well and which companies are going to perform poorly. So one of the best possible strategies is to buy a little bit of every single company in the entire stock market. It seems like it would be a lot of work to do that, like buy one share of every single company in the entire United States and then keep up with that over time, and that would be actually a ton of work. That would be ridiculous. I'm not telling you to do that. But you can do something similar by buying these things called index funds. So, for example, there's an index fund with ticker symbol VTI, alright? So if you buy a share of VTI, the Vanguard Total US Stock Market Index Fund, what you're actually doing is you're buying a teeny tiny slice of every publicly traded company in the United States all at once with basically just a few clicks. Alright, so that makes it really easy to lock in those average returns that we were talking about earlier. So, lesson number 2 here is there's really no need to mess around with individual stocks. You can just buy a stock market index fund like VTI and get great results over the long run. So, how do you actually buy a stock then? To do that, you're going to need a brokerage account. So a brokerage account is kind of like a bank account, except you can buy and sell investments inside of it. So to get a brokerage account, you need a brokerage firm. 3 of the main ones we've worked with before are Fidelity, Vanguard, and TD Ameritrade, and they're all really good. Main reason they're good is because they don't charge commissions on trading those index funds we were talking about earlier. So you don't have to pay anything extra for them. There's no fees. There's plenty of good companies out there. I don't have one specific one to sell to you, but just know that you need to open a brokerage account to be able to do any of this stuff we're talking about. That's it. Those are the basics. Now, I promised you this would be the world's shortest stock market investing guide, not the world's most complete. So make sure you do a lot more reading before you take action, starting with the link in the video description. Finally, I want to give you full disclosure here and let you know I'm not a professional financial advisor. I'm just a blogger who's sharing the stuff that I've learned over the years, alright? Also, when you invest in anything, you can lose money, alright? With the world of the stock market, nothing is an absolute guarantee, so make sure you understand that. Thanks for watching.